Hi guys, thank you for coming by to tune in to I Was Just Thinking. I appreciate you guys spending the time to view our videos. Today we are just kind of at home relaxing on a Sunday. We're during the COVID-19 crisis, so we decided to do a series about our story. Now, we are just a typical African American family who had parents that grew up here in the United States. Ours is a typical American story, but of course we've had a lot of ups and downs in our families, a lot of triumphs, some losses, some struggles, and different things like that. And when I reflect on my own life, I always find it very interesting. And I share my life with my family, and so I wanted to get their input as well. So we all came together and decided to go ahead and share our stories. We're going to do a series and talking about different just talking about our life and how things unfolded. My parents were married and had 4 children and ended up with 5, and ended up with over 20 grandchildren and 15 plus great grandchildren. So you can see that would be a lot of moving parts, you know, and a lot. Yeah, it's been very interesting. One thing I can say is our life is not boring. So I think this can kind of go into the series of Stay Home. Since we're in the COVID-19 crisis, Stay Home With Me. So we'll be uploading different videos, and if you like them, I hope you subscribe and keep coming back, because we'll continue to share. But with that being said, we thought a good place for this to start would be with my mom. My father has passed away. He passed away some time ago in 1995. We'll discuss that later. But we have my mom here. I'm so blessed to still have her here in our life. And so we wanted to start with her and maybe talk about when you and Dad got married, Mom.
Okay. We got married when we were both 17.
Mm-hmm.
We had to have our parents sign for us to get married because we were underage. We didn't have to get married, but we wanted to get married. We got married July the 24th of 1966. Yes, that's right. Had to keep up.
Yeah.
66, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We got married.
Were you guys still in high school?
I was. He had graduated the year before.
Okay.
I was still in high school. I was in my senior year, starting my senior year, right after we got married.
Mm-hmm.
And he was already working down in Horsfield's. The shoe department. Yeah, he was in the shoe repair section of Horsfield's, which was really nice. He worked downtown and the one on the plaza.
How did you and Daddy meet?
I met him. He lived downstairs from my best friend.
Okay.
I had moved into the neighborhood, and a few months later, her family moved into the neighborhood up in T.V. Watkins, as we'll talk about more, I'm sure.
You didn't live in T.V. Watkins?
No, I lived across the street from them.
Okay.
And I found out she had moved there. I was just excited. So we used to hang out all the time. And so this was like the day after Easter.
Wow.
I had walked up to her house. And was, you know, how teenagers, girls are, we always got to go walking somewhere. So I walked up to her house, was waiting out front for her to come down, for us to go walk somewhere else. And this little boy that lived in the neighborhood came up to me and said that Hartzell wanted to talk to me. And I was like, who? And he said it again, and I told him, I said, well, you tell him when he gets a name that somebody can pronounce.
Oh, Lord. Oh, well,
she came down, and me and her went on our way, and then we came back, and he sent him out there again, and he made him pronounce his name correctly.
Oh, the young man didn't say it right the first time?
Well, no, he said it we all say it.
Okay.
At the time, but he wanted him to say heart soul, and so he told me that was his name. I was like, okay, but it didn't mean anything. But he sent messages down to my house telling me that he wanted to talk to me. Then he asked for my phone number, and
he never really came to you directly for a while. He
for
just
a
kind of
while,
sit there.
for a while,
He said
and
other people.
They don't even seem like Daddy Lee. Okay, go ahead.
no, he did not.
He was young by it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But he called himself super cool, you know.
That was the way you did it, or is it at the time?
Yes, he finally one day I was, and that was my friend. We called her Sam's, but it was up to Sam's. Anyhow, I was up there. He was there. He was at home, and he saw me up there. I was hanging out the window what I was doing, and he told me to come downstairs that he wanted to talk to me. So I came out. And I met him down on the ledge in the mezzanine, like the main landing thing. And he told me he wanted me to be his girl. And I told him I had to think about it. And I thought he was very cute. You know, just as cute as he wanted to be, but I wasn't going to rush into it because, you know, I'd heard stories.
You had to play hard to get.
Well, yeah, I heard stories about him and his brothers. They was well known.
In the neighborhood.
Okay. Well known with the girls and all kind of stuff. So I was like, no, I ain't gonna do that.
Was there a little, I call it the intrigue of you being a new girl or the not so known girl in the neighborhood, or were you known in the neighborhood?
No, I was not, because they thought me and Sam were stuck up. And so they didn't really have much, and then the girls in the neighborhood sure didn't want to have nothing to do with us, you know.
Okay.
And so no, we weren't well known.
Okay.
And so we.
Now that was probably what, 65?
Yeah.
65 or
Right.
64. I don't
It was
know.
65.
You were a junior?
Yes, when I met him. I was a junior in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Early junior, maybe.
Yes, very
Okay.
early junior.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And yeah, that's true. I had to think back about it.
I don't know. It could have been 64, 65.
Yeah.
And so y'all met and kind of started dating.
Well, yeah, sort of.
Okay.
Back then, I guess you didn't do things like they do now. Anyhow, he asked for my phone number. He started calling. We talked on the phone, and he asked one time could he come over. And I let him come over, and the first thing he did is brought his friend with him.
He brought a friend.
He brought his best friend with him. And then we were all sitting there, and then while he decides that he needed to run to the store, and he leaves his friend there with me. And I start questioning his friend all about him, you know, and of course he didn't want to say anything.
He ain't gonna tell him his friend.
He ain't gonna tell him,
him,
you know, and that's what it was. But anyway, eventually we started dating. He didn't have a car at the time, so he used to borrow his uncle's car or somebody in his dad's car or something, and we'd go riding or to the movies or drive-in or stuff like that. Yeah, so eventually we dated for, I guess, about a good year, and then at Christmas he gave me engagement ring. He gave me a whole wedding set, and I was so excited for Christmas. And then that following July is when we got married.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were y'all life like starting out? What did y'all do?
When we first
got married,
we, like I said, we talked about, we got married in the T.V. Watkins recreation room. Well, it was a place where they used to have sort of teenage parties back then, and so we decorated that, and his mother and my mother and his family and we all went down there and cleaned it up and decorated it and made it look really nice.
Remind you of another wedding we had at the North.
Right.
We'll talk about that later.
Just to put it into context for the audience that's watching, TV Watkins is called Theron B. Watkins. It's a public housing project. So they got married at the recreation room that was reserved for parties and things at that complex.
Excuse me, yeah. When we got married, before we got married, we had went to a furniture company that's still here, OK Furniture.
Oh, wow.
And
wow, they still in business.
They are. I hope they make it after COVID-19.
They had a special on where you could buy a living room set, a bedroom set, and a kitchen set. It was like $400 and something.
Girl.
Yes. And we worked all summer to pay it off.
That's awesome.
We both was working, and we put money on it every payday, and by the time we got married, we had it paid. We got it paid off.
Wow.
But when we got married, we didn't move into a place where we could use that. We moved into a 1-bedroom apartment, and we shared a bathroom with our landlord. And that didn't work out real good.
Yeah, y'all too young to be sitting
newlyweds and everything. All y'all had was one room. Y'all didn't have a living room or
no.
No,
It was a
studio like
kitchen. It was a little kitchen area that was attached to it, and then the
Kitchen.
bathroom that we shared together, and it was not good. But yeah,
Had to start out somewhere. Huh?
yeah, we did.
What I want to know is, how did your parents feel about that?
About what?
You getting married? Mm-hmm.
They were Mama was totally against it in the beginning. My father, when we finally told him that we were getting married, he wanted me to wait. He tried to get me to come to where he lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and he wanted me to come up there and go to college. And he wanted me to wait until then, after college, before I got married.
Yeah.
I was in love.
Yeah. You don't want to hear any of that.
Right. And then my mother, I kind of whittled her down because she had told me a story of how she had fell in love with this guy when she was like, I don't know what age she was, but she was much younger. And he gave her a diamond ring and everything. And my grandmother wouldn't let her marry him. And I don't know what the reason was behind it, but Mama always talked about him like she really wished she had him married him. And she had found out later that he was a school teacher that did real good, and she just felt like,
been my life.
yeah, I was like, well, I don't want to be like you where I missed out.
Yeah.
So I whittled her down with that one until she was finally like, and she liked your dad. She loved him, you know, she was crazy about him. And, you know, he was quite the charmer, so he had her,
I can see.
he had her wrapped around his finger pretty good too. So.
He knew how to behave himself when you know.
Yes, he
Right.
did. Yes, he did.
No, that's great.
Yeah. So we moved there. We stayed there about a month.
A month.
Cause she kept coming in. We come home from work, and cause I was still working then, and I was going to school, but working too, cause I only went to school half a day, and then I worked as a legal secretary in the afternoons. And your daddy was working, but she still kept coming in the apartment all the time, and she wanted to have things to say about what we wasn't doing, and what, you know, dishes in the sink, or didn't make up your bed, and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, no, I left my mother at home. You know, I'm here. I'm free and single, and I mean married, and you don't need no more of this. So
I don't need no more mama.
no. So we talked to his mother, who was president of the tenant association at T.B. Watkins, and asked her about getting us an apartment. And she talked to the management or somebody there, and she got us one, and we moved into our first real apartment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to move your little furniture in.
Moved our little furniture in and set it all up, and I was so, it was like a little dollhouse to me. It was just me and him, you know, we had a good time.
And you was working and going to school. You got your own little apartment and everything.
Yeah, I felt like I was the stuff.
Yeah.
I arrived, you know. You know, my home life at the time wasn't the best. You know, my stepfather and my mother weren't getting along, so I was kind of I was happy to get out of that situation.
Tension and
Do you
stuff.
feel like that was part of the reason you probably also pushed to get married?
Yes, I know it was, you know.
Did you reflect back on it now?
Yes.
But you didn't?
As I realized it then.
Okay.
I didn't want to admit it then. I mean, I loved him, true enough, but I also realized I wanted to get out of the environment that I was in. You know, I didn't like that. But,
Okay.
because theirs wasn't a good one.
Yeah. We'll talk about that maybe, Nixie.
Yeah.
I think you'll talk about that later. Maybe kind of go back in Mama's history to kind of understand even some of the things that may have impacted all of us.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think you?
I think we might. We might decide to go back and revisit that. But I think right now, delving into kind of how our family started is really good. It gives good context around how we started as a family. So I think this would be a great spot to pause.
Okay.
And so now Mom and Dad are in T.B. Watkins, and Mom's still in school, working, Daddy's working. So I think we'll come back, guys, pick up from there, and that way we can see what happens after they moved into T.B. Watkins. So tune back in. We'll talk to you soon.